the Patriots set, red MAGA on the hat. Yeah, it's like that and we ain't turning back. Bet you thinking that you brave with a different flag, waving, find out the hard way. You don't burn my flag. Raise up, put them stars in the sky. Raise up for American pride. Raise up, another term, Trump is back. Raise up, boy, I dare y'all to burn my flag. Raise up. So let me get this straight. You got your flag waving while you living where you hate. You snuck across the border cause you heard that it was great. And it is, now you wanna light our flag up in flames? That's the same thing, God, that we ain't heading left anymore. If we were, there'd be nothing left, that's for sure. Sending Ukraine money, but we got our own war. Hope you got your bags packed, cause you're about to get deported. Oh Lord, it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Cause we all know ain't nothing peaceful about these protesters. 45 on my hip and Trump is back for 47. But he's only one, man, we gotta do this all together. Where the Patriots set, red MAGA on the hat. Yeah, it's like that and we ain't turning back. Bet you thinking that you brave with a different flag, waving, find out the hard way. You don't burn my flag. Raise up, put them stars in the sky. Raise up for American pride. Raise up, another term, Trump is back. Raise up, boy, I dare y'all to burn my flag. Raise up, you boys wanna start a fire and you started one. Better not protest in the street when my car's come, telling me I need to chill, saying that I'm on one. But your boy is red pilled, I'm in it for the long run. Yeah, but I ain't running from intimidation, like illegals when they running from the immigration. I love me and haters looking them right in their faces and laughing when their energy changes. I do this for our nation. They say it's lame, they say it's corny. No, it's lame, staying silent while they burning Old Glory. Either with me or against me, cause I'm riding to the death. For the red, white, blue, my only question. Where the Patriots set, red MAGA on the hat. Yeah, it's like that and we ain't turning back. Bet you thinking that you brave with a different flag, waving, find out the hard way. You don't burn my flag. Raise up, put them stars in the sky. Raise up for American pride. Raise up, another term, Trump is back. Raise up, boy, I dare y'all to burn my flag. Raise up.
Well, we are live Friday night, same cues, different views.
What about that intro? Whoa.
Oh, 1 second here. I have got some double talking in my voice. Let me see where that's coming from.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if I got I may have a tab open. Let's see. I apologize for the technical difficulties.
That's crazy. We was talking previous to the show and there wasn't any kind of an echo, and now Hex 7 has voices in his head.
Yeah.
Just our luck.
I'm trying to narrow it down here.
Go into the settings and then turn off listen to the device.
It's a window open somewhere. I thought. I don't know where that's coming from. Yep, it's still doing it. What the hell?
Oh, it's crazy.
Oh, I found it, I think.
All right, yeah.
I believe I cleared it up there. I got so much, like all these programs and software that I use to make these clips and stuff. I had so much stuff open. I was trying to dig through, and then I've had windows open where I've been searching for stuff on top of that. So
we're trying to get ready for the show, and then we got just so much opened up.
Yeah, there was one window that had the show opened up in it. But anyway, welcome to Same Cues, Different Views. It's Friday night. Glad you guys could join us. We've got a really awesome show lined up tonight. There's been a lot of news happened this week. I'll give you a quick rundown of the lineup here. Let me pull it up. We got some R. Kelly news in the lineup. We've got DNC is pretty well effed. from what I gather, what I've been watching. And then we're going to go down a rabbit hole. So get your tinfoil hats ready because we're going to go into some weather manipulation. Big rabbit hole to go down. A lot of interesting stuff in that. And then we've got. Dude, did you like smoke for a long time?
A little bit. Now we got a couple little upgrades to the sound studio and stuff like that going on tonight, guys. So just messing around with that a little bit, see what we do to kind of get a
So
laugh.
then we got we're going to break into the Iran-Israel conflict that's going on and give a little bit on that, some of our takes. We got a little segment that Parabellum is going to lead us through a little bit here. Underground Railroad of Drugs. That was some interesting stuff. And then we've got MAHA Train. Everybody on board. We've got some interesting news with MAHA and RFK Jr. And then we're going to do our badass clips and then some mostly peaceful memes. So I hope everybody's doing good tonight. You got anything you want to touch on here real quick, Parabellum?
I got nothing going on as far as anything this morning, any kind of financial news. There's not a whole lot happening out there in the world. Just kind of breezing by that this time around. It's up, it's down. We got a lot of conflicts going on in the Middle East, and of course, that's going to have influences. No big major reporting there, but anything you got going on, we can move forward with that.
Okay, I guess we'll just kind of get right into it here. We got some R. Kelly news. R. Kelly allegedly, wait 1 second here. Bear with me. Okay, so R. Kelly allegedly almost dropped Stormy Patriot Joe, or True Stormy Joe put this out. He's a guy I follow over on X. Him and his buddy Absolute 1776 have a show called Absolute Storm on Rumble. Guys, go give them a follow. They're phenomenal. If you're into Q or want to learn more about Q, this is probably the best place to go is these guys, because these guys are on their game with it. But anyway, he had put this out with R. Kelly, and this was on the 17th. So R. Kelly was rushed to the hospital after overdosing in prison. His lawyers alleged he was part of a wild murder plot. So I don't know. This made me think a whole lot about Epstein. That's the vibe I got from it is, I don't know if you guys remember R. Kelly was put in there for kind of a similar situation. But does R. Kelly know something and they're trying to take him out? I mean, is that what this is? Is that what they tried to do? Because I've got a big article here by The Guardian. I can pull up and read a little bit more into it. Let me add that to stage. Or Parabellum, do you want to give that a read?
Yeah, lawyers for R. Kelly say in new court documents that the convicted sex trafficker and singer was recently rushed to the hospital after medically overdosing in prison. The 58-year-old reportedly collapsed on Friday at Federal Correctional Institute in Butner, North Carolina, which specializes in housing sex offenders, and was transported to Duke University Hospital. In a new court filing on Monday, reviewed by The Guardian, Kelly's lawyers alleged that he had been placed in solitary confinement on June 10th and was given medication by prison staff along with instructions to take it. According to the filing, Kelly awoke in the early morning hours of 13 June feeling faint and dizzy, and he started to see black spots in his vision. R. Kelly tried to get up, but he fell to the ground, the filing alleges. He crawled to the door of the cell and lost consciousness. The document alleges that Kelly was then placed on a gurney and taken by ambulance to Duke University Hospital. During the ambulance ride, Kelly reportedly overheard a prison officer say, "This is going to open a whole new can of worms." At the hospital, Kelly's lawyers say he learned that he had been administered an overdose quantity of his medications that threatened his life. They also say that he required hospitalization for 2 days. The Bureau of Prisons declined to comment to USA Today, which first reported the filing, citing pending litigation. Yeah, I've been there before. Monday's filing came after an emergency motion by Kelly's lawyers in which they alleged that 3 Bureau of Prisons officials had orchestrated a plot to have him killed by another inmate. That motion requested that Kelly be released to home detention. What? Oh, no way, dude. Well, he had an overdose, so Is this like a sympathy ploy here? What's going on here, man?
Well, the thing with the overdose, like that whole article, when I read that, it sounded to me like, like the prison guard saying this is going to open up a whole new can of worms. It sounded to me like somebody's trying to off R. Kelly because, is this going to lead back to some Epstein shit? Does he know shit on other people? Got the whole Diddy thing on top of that. Like this is interesting. This is something to keep eyes on and track, I think.
That's crazy, absolutely crazy. But I got mixed feelings as far as anybody doing anything to a minor. I'm absolutely, kind of old school and saying you get what you got coming to you, bro. Whatever happens, happens, son.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that.
Well, the other
paper
thing
on the glass, baby, you're done.
but again, like he could know some dirt on some people, and it could be that they're doing this to witness protection him, even though he'll probably end up getting sentenced for what he done in the end. But I think maybe they're, trying to witness protection him because he looks like he was pretty much tried to be offed by some people who didn't watch some shit out, is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, no, I get that 100%. That's pretty wild, man. That's pretty crazy.
That's some crazy shit.
Surprising R. Kelly makes it back into the news after so many years, especially after the conviction and all that nasty stuff that went down with him.
Yep. Let's see. Anybody got anything on that in the chat? Let's see. Don't look like we've got any comments in the chat. So let's move on to the next little section here. This was interesting. I thought this week I had come across this. DNC is in chaos and desperate for cash. Under its new leader, Ken Martin, the Democratic National Committee has been plagued with infringing and
infighting and dropping.
Infighting. Yeah, hold on. I'm trying to fix my screen here. Okay. Infighting and dropping big donations, raising alarm from Democrats as they try to win back power. So the Democratic Party, the DNC, looks like they're losing funding. Nobody's donating to them. Have you seen anything about that, Parabellum?
Some of the biggest stuff that I've seen was that they're absolutely in chaos because they used to be the party that was all about raising revenue. You look at Lindy Lee and all the money that was easily raised when she was over that way. But Democrats usually always have a huge war chest. That's the way it's been for the last 20 to 25 years. But to be able to see them in this kind of a position is absolutely insane. They're literally asking, from recent reports you can see on Reuters or Newsmax or any kind of Rumble or anything that you may want to watch, is that they're literally begging for money. As far as I know, it's that severe for them. They're literally begging for money. So you see a Democratic Party that used to try to be so strong, and they're not showing up for, House meetings, and they're begging for money. And to me, they're no more than your regular crackhead out there on the street today. They're not showing up for appointments. They're begging for money.
They have ruined themselves with what they've done, the way they went after Trump and, all this corruption that's been exposed. Like, they have ruined themselves. And one of the things, like, I'd made this comment at work today to a buddy of mine. And, the thing with Trump's a big fan of the book, Sun Tzu, The Art of War.
Oh, yeah.
And I think within that book, it talks, one of the things it says is never interfere with an enemy while they're in the process of destroying themselves. And I think that's what we've seen from 2020 to 2024 was the enemy destroying themselves, and Trump didn't interfere with it, and he let them destroy themselves. And I think that's why the Democrats are in this boat right now.
That's an absolute smart move, and that's actually, I like that quote because that's great advice. That's good wisdom for anybody in your life. You see somebody absolutely destroying yourself, distance, go ahead, because you're not changing their mind. I promise you that.
Yep. So we got this article here from New York Post, and Democrats' main fundraising committee so cash strapped, it's considering borrowing money. Party is fucked.
Yep.
But it goes on to say, talking about Democrats' main fundraising committee is losing big donors, and so strapped for cash that its officials have discussed borrowing money just to keep the lights on. Like, what the hell? That's awesome. I like it, but the
I'm
Democratic,
glad to honestly see them in this predicament because they've got too comfortable for 20 years in being the ringleaders of our constitutional republic. And they've done so much to be able to change the vision, to what people think that, your vote is and everything that's gone so crazy. I'm glad to see them get a little bit of accountability and get
Yeah.
a good dose of reality.
Well,
Wake up.
the
You're
other
broke.
thing, the other thing too is before we get into the rest of this article here is, do you remember? So we had the whole thing with Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX, and Ukraine. Do you remember that? And Sam Bankman-Fried, who ran FTX, got arrested. I think was he on his yacht? Is that what it was?
Yeah.
When they arrested him. Yeah. So anyway, what was happening there, and this is why the Democrats are losing money. But back then, what was happening there was the Democrats were sending all this money to Ukraine, and if I'm not mistaken, Ukraine was in turn funneling it into FTX, and FTX was in turn funneling it back into the DNC, and that's where they were getting a lot of their funding. So then you have Elon come in, and then Elon starts, all this Doge stuff and cutting this and cutting that and cutting that, and they don't have any taxpayer money that they can funnel and put into their pockets anymore, and that's why.
That's a great point. Little D done, and now guess what? They're crying because they're broke.
Yeah. Well, that's yet another reason. Like I said, they never interfere with an enemy while they're in the process of destroying themselves. But I think that this is yet another reason why the Democratic Party, the DNC, is in the shape they're in right now, is because that and Elon cutting all this funding. So the rest of this article goes on to say, where was I at here?
We're 6 months in and we're drowning. I believe that's where we start.
No, it was to keep the lights on. One source spilling to the Post was saying that if this doesn't get fixed by 2026 midterms, the party is fucked.
Yeah, they're over.
Yep.
They basically dug their own graves and then closed the coffin, as far as I'm concerned. What Democrats have done. Yep. They've done everything you're exactly not supposed to do. If you want to win.
I think it closes here with we have no clear path or plan. They added the midterms are.
That's a great message.
Yeah, we don't know what the hell we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing or where we're going. Vote for me.
The midterms are going to come before you know it, and we're going to be really fucked. So all of that reminded me of on the right side of your screen there, Q3961, and Q had posted a picture, a screenshot of Trump's post, and it says, who knows what this means, but it sounds good to me. And it's my next piece is called "Nothing Can Stop What Is Coming," and then Q says, you are witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. And that's what we're seeing with the Democrats right now. And all the stuff going on in Iran is we are witnessing the systematic destruction of the old guard. Or that's my take on it anyway. So are you there, Parabellum?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you.
Nope. No, I got that new mic, man. It just keeps silence going on. I got some good audio rocking.
So, with that said, kind of reminded me of an Elon post here. This was back in 2024 in November. Elon had posted, you are the media now. And that linked right to, if you could see the arrow going down, the blue arrow, it goes to Q36 or 3616, and Q says, you are the news now. So Elon, you are the media now. Q, you are the news now. I thought that was pretty interesting, but it went on, and a person, I can't remember who that was on X, had was questioning Elon, like or pretty much saying you should go on and post a full Q drop or a Q meme or something like that. And Elon had replied, and he said, not sure what Q drop means, but the other stuff sounds accurate to me, which, that kind of goes right back to Trump's post here that, Q had cropped out. He said, again, who knows what this means, but it sounds good to me. So I think Elon, and I know Trump is part of Q team, but I think Elon is part of Q team too. So anyway, what have we got after that? I guess you got anything on the Democratic Party parabellum?
Nothing on the Democratic Party. I was just kind of going with the platform you got for tonight, and then I'll jump in whenever there's any kind of, the underground tunnels or anything like that going on, any kind of information.
Do you want to dive into this?
Ooh, yeah, we can get into that
before we get into the big meat of the show.
Absolutely, we can get into that. I do have a video we can add with that as well, but let's go over it a little bit. So I know that Kash Patel has recently came out, and he was on Joe Rogan, and then there was multiple other sources that verified. There's a lot of information that came out that says alleged Chinese scheme to influence the 2020 election for Biden by the FBI. So pretty much they're saying that the Chinese Communist Party interfered in the 2020 election. And they were looking for Joe Biden to win.
If anybody's not seen the documentary 2,000 Mules by Dinesh D'Souza, I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name.
Yeah.
I highly recommend watching that because there is such a huge amount of evidence of ballot stuffing, and a lot of these like into the drop boxes, and a lot of these ballots came from China, fake ballots.
That's what's so baffling to me is that 2,000 Mules came out. And of course, that was a time when Democrats controlled the majority of the media. A lot's happened since then. Something like that came out now, you may get a little more attention. But, dude, they were stuffing ballot boxes. They were moving thousands of votes through 18-wheelers across state lines. I watched that documentary, and it was absolutely great. So anybody that wants to watch that and you haven't seen it yet, definitely take a chance to go see what's going on.
Yeah, definitely watch 2,000 Mules. I think you can go on Rumble now, if I'm not mistaken. And I seemed like I'd seen that it was free now to watch, but you can go on Rumble and look up 2,000 Mules, Dinesh D'Souza. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name again, but anyway, the salsa, who knows? But anyway, I highly recommend watching that. He put together a excellent documentary on the 2020 election and how it was stolen. And this includes like geo tracking with cell phones and all that stuff, where they track, like he's showing you live feeds of tracking these cell phones and going to the ballot boxes and multiple locations, the same cell phone going and stuffing ballot boxes in multiple
they were getting paid. They were getting paid to drive votes, and you're finding all kinds of Republican votes out on the side of the road, and they're stuffed in the woods, and people have burned them. And USPS workers that were investigated, some of them went to jail. There's so much overwhelming evidence that this happened. Yet, if you look at the 4 years of the Biden administration, it was so covered up that a lot of people chose not to believe it. They looked at it as conspiracy theory, or they just couldn't believe that it could happen because it was too big of an ordeal. But that kind of brings us into what Kash Patel is going to say. And if you want, I can play that video for Kash Patel. This is a little video from Newsmax, and it reveals a little bit more information about the Communist Chinese Party interfering in the election.
Yeah, let's give it a play.
All right.
I have confidence in the security of this election because I know the work that we've done for 4 years in support of our state and local partners. I know the work that the intelligence community has done, that the Department of Defense has done, that the FBI has done, that my team has done. I know that these systems are more secure. I know, based on what we have seen, that any attacks on the election were not successful.
And if you can't believe him and trust him, who can you believe and trust? That's tonight's red hot video. Former cybersecurity and infrastructure security agency head Chris Krebs, come on, most trustworthy man in the world, explaining his confidence that he had, at least, in the 2020 presidential election, one that he called the most secure in history. Now, believe it or not, here we are 5 years later. A new bombshell from the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, with a new FBI director, greatly undermines Mr. Krebs' claims. FBI Director Kash Patel handing over newly declassified intelligence documents, an entire report that says that China carried out mass-produced fake ID rackets in the United States to upend the 2020 presidential election with mail-in ballots to benefit lunch bucket Joe Biden. The intelligence reports of the Chinese interference were from August of 2020, long before Election Day. But the FBI that we know and love, then under the leadership of Christopher Wray, neither bothered to go out and corroborate the reporting or the investigation. They didn't even investigate the claims. Now, instead, what the FBI did is they pulled back. They actually recalled the substantiated allegations and never made them public. Why would the American public want to know about that? The declassified documents, now newly declassified documents, are now in the hands of Senate Judiciary Chairman Senator Chuck Grassley. And I've got to say, El, this is kind of a big deal, isn't it? You know, and once again, our FBI is at the center of it, and we had John Penitentiary Face Brennan at the CIA undermining our 2020 election, being one of the signatories to that felonious 51 letter saying the Hunter Biden laptop reporting had all the earmarks of Russian disinformation, and they're Russia, Russia, Russia. That's the Democrat Party's talking point. Then we discovered China, where the Biden family is doing business and getting money out of the Chinese. And they were tampering with massive numbers, tens of thousands of fake IDs to get people to get mail-in ballots. And guess what? Amazingly, President Trump won all 50 states in in-person voting, and Joe Biden won all 50 states in mail-in ballots. Huh.
Yeah, I mean, we at the Federalist were reporting greatly in 2020 about the problems with mail-in voting, and we were censored for it. We were one of the few places that were saying, hey, look, this is not secure. And then you had, like the guy we just saw saying, it was the most secure election in history. Look, this news about China is very alarming, but it's not. I mean, we already knew that the FBI was intervening in the election to help Joe Biden. This was the same FBI that was scuttling information and an investigation into the Bidens and their foreign business dealings, Hunter Biden's tax evasion. And so that's not a surprise. It's also not a surprise because we know the FBI in 2016 used its resources to go after the Trump campaign based on the Steele dossier that was fabricated information shipped to it by the Clinton campaign. But I mean, we'll see where the evidence goes. I'm very interested to hear what exactly was going on. Yeah. But I guess we finally found some foreign interference that the Democrat partisans at the FBI weren't interested in.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think we shouldn't trust everything our government tells us.
So, wow.
Yeah. It's coming out.
Go ahead.
Trump wasn't here recently. Trump was talking about declassifying a lot of that stuff with whole Russiagate and interference and election fraud. Yeah,
well, that's what Donald Trump did. Yeah, big time. And
so
that's
we got that
right there, taking a page out of President Donald Trump's book to see, you know what, let's declassify this information we found. And a lot of this information they found was in a locked room in the FBI, which Kash Patel also, came out and said. And there's a lot more information, I'm sure, that's going to be coming out of that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You've got tens of thousands of driver's license hacks that were created and thousands of fake mail-in ballots that were basically declassified by Kash Patel that said, yes, the Communist Chinese Party interfered in the 2020 election. This is exactly how they did it. One of the biggest points I thought that they made was that if you looked at in-person voting, Donald Trump won. And if you look at any kind of mail-in voting, President Joe Biden won. Now, a lot of people could easily assume, President Joe Biden was during the COVID vaccine, the COVID mandates. That's what he went for. And Donald Trump was always conservative Republican. And we were people that believed that you need to show up in person to get them votes. You can say that all day long, but those statistics are undeniable, especially after the Kash Patel declassified report.
You can't tell me Joe Biden got 81 million votes.
There's no way. More than Obama?
Yeah. No freaking way.
There's no way, dude.
What else was it? There was something else on that too. I thought Pam Bondi had some stuff, or was it Pam Bondi? Anyway, I thought there was something else on that Pam Bondi had spoke on with election fraud earlier this week, or maybe it was today. I was trying to find it here, but I can't. anyway, wanted to throw that in there, and also let me pull my other screen up here. Got a little bit of tidbit of news. Well, if I hit the right button.
You got to remove that from the screen.
Oh no, I'm trying to find what I'm looking for here on the in another browser. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to pull up. Let me share my screen here. Talk about this for a second, because I thought this was interesting. This is Q related stuff. Is it that one? Yep, that's it. Share. Oh, the big Q stands for Q.
It's a notification of incoming Q information. I like to click it.
All right. Let me remove. Oh, you got that. Or do I have that? Yeah, I have that on the stage. Let me remove that from the stage. Well, where the crap did it go?
There you go.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. And you can go ahead and add.
Yep. Okay. So I'd made this post a couple days ago. That was on the 18th. Trump has a little clip here, and let's watch it.
It's a big difference. Big difference. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. It's a big difference. Big difference. I was the hunted, so and now I'm the.
Trump says I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter.
Uh-oh, Q drops incoming.
Facebook Reels are so hard to freaking get to play on here and stop. Ooh.
I got you.
Let's see. Let me find that again.
Well, I can tell you something that I thought that was ironic.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you got it? Go ahead. I'll tell you here in a minute. Hilarious information that came out.
Pull this back up here. Show more. There we go. All right. So what I was getting at here was Trump said I was the hunter, now I'm the hunted. So in Q, he was specifically hitting on the Qs with this. The harvested crop has been prepared and soon will be delivered for public consumption. And then one of the things that this drop says in 3599 is hunters become the hunted. So hunters become the hunted is what Trump was hinting at there. He was the hunted, and now he's become the hunter.
Ooh, nice play on words. I like
and the hunters have become the hunted. So let's look at the top of this drop again. It says the harvested crop has been prepared and soon will be delivered to the public for consumption. So what I think Q is getting at in with that little statement there is that they've exposed all of this stuff with the swamp, and it's getting ready to come out. Like I've been hitting at this for a while on Facebook now of how something big is coming. Then we had what we have last week or this past week has been fire. We've had the riots. We've had the whole thing with Israel and Iran has broke out. And we'll get into more of that here in just a moment, and I'll give a little take on that. But, you know, I think we're in the final phase of this Q plan, in my opinion, starting to enter the final phase, or the stage is being set for the final phase. And again, don't take anything I say as fact. I'm giving my take on it. So, you know, just do your own research and look it up for yourselves. But I think we're in the final phase of this Q plan. I think this operation is going great. I've seen so many people wake up since I've been involved in this. Hell, we won the 2024 election in a landslide. But I think all this truth and all this information, like Q says, the harvested crop is being prepared and soon will be delivered for public consumption. I think that harvested crop is going to be a massive truth bomb to the public, which is going to shock a lot of people. So that's my take on that. But I just wanted to kind of put that out there with Trump saying that. Hunters become the hunted.
For me, I know from my practical view, I can get what you're saying. I get that 100%. I know from a different perspective is that this is a man that was hunted, President Donald Trump, for the entirety of his both election campaigns. And he's always been in the limelight, and people have always dropped him down, you know.
Wait, I think we got
but I think that he is just tired of it. Oh, it's Big Country coming in.
He just sent me a text and said Mavericks inbound, call the ball. I don't know what that is, but let's get on that real quick. Is that
well, I'm gonna add something real quick while you're looking that up, and then I'm gonna show you. It's kind of hilarious. So President Donald Trump, and you know, his son, he came out and they've opened up this new Trump mobile plan. And I don't know if you've seen it, but the hilarity and the trolling power of what they did at pricing their plan. I don't know if you've seen this, ladies and gentlemen, but they're debuting a Trump mobile cellular phone service at $47.45 a month. And that
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Right? Is that not pure comedy, dude? I absolutely love the trolling ability of the Trump family.
So something else too. Have you noticed Trump's hat? His hat says 45. You know how it says 45, 47 on the side?
Yeah.
It's got the little dash in between that. That's 45 through 47. That's full control. Trump was, again, Q said it had to be this way. Trump let them steal the election to expose their shit. Again, Sun Tzu, Art of War, never interfere with an enemy while they're destroying themselves. I think Trump was still behind the scenes, and I've got two things that can back this up. I think Trump was still behind the scenes controlling everything because, number one, we watched, what was it, last week's show or a week before last show, we watched the military salute to Joe Biden compared to Trump, the inauguration of Joe Biden compared to Trump. And we seen the difference that the military, again, like it said, like the clip said last week or the week before last on the show, you can't tell me the military forgot how to give a presidential gun salute when Joe Biden come into office. They gave him a salute that was reserved for funerals or foreign visiting dignitaries.
Absolutely.
They did not give him a presidential salute. So Biden was not the president. Biden was the resident.
Yes, he was absolute resident.
Biden was a puppet. Biden was an actor in this. And
if I had to re-up during my time of service and say that the Biden administration just overlaps what I came through. Unfortunately, I was in the Obama administration, but I didn't know no better back then in those days. But if it had transpired over into the Joe Biden administration, I definitely would not have re-upped. There's no way, because I have no respect for that kind of a leader coming as, an infantryman, 11 Bravo. I mean, these are your guys. These are the boots on ground. We work with people that do, tanks and your Charlies and your mortars. And these guys, I can promise you from my service perspective, they're not wanting to re-up with some wussy for a leader. So no matter what you hear about, military loved Joe Biden. Yeah, bullshit. We didn't love him.
They turned their backs to him that day. Like it was. Go back and look at the show, people. We played the clip. The military turned their backs to Joe Biden.
Veterans have to play the game because they're under contract. They get put in. They're at 3 years. They're at 5 years. They're at 10 years. This is something that we understand. But we also know when we can be able to get away with showing what we truly feel, and not go under, the UCMJ Code of Justice and get in trouble. So that's exactly what these gentlemen did. I said, fuck you, Joe. So we're going to show out for Donald Trump.
So the other thing too that I've got to back this up is look at General Flynn. Okay, so when you had the whole court case with General Flynn and all that stuff, and then he ended up going off to public civilian life, supposedly going off the public civilian life, and he was a 3-star general.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now he's a 4-star general. How did he get promoted when he was in the public civilian life? Why is he now a 4-star general? Because General Flynn wasn't out of the game. General Flynn was doing I think General Flynn was undercover doing some covert shit for this.
Mm-hmm.
And that was his cover, was to, the whole thing with him getting demoted or not demoted, but getting to civilian life and stuff like that. That was all a cover, and General Flynn has earned a promotion because you got Trump right now. Multiple times he's talked about bringing General Flynn back in some shape, form, or fashion. And you have the Q drops also saying, referring to General Flynn, are you ready to serve your country again? I think, with that and the whole thing with the military salute with Biden and all the other stuff we've seen with Biden, that whole presidency was fake. It was bullshit. And it was meant.
The auto pin conspiracy that
Look, it's all coming out. It was all meant to expose. It's all coming out. It was all meant to expose. That's what that whole presidency was. That 4 years we went through with Biden was meant to expose the corruption in this country to the people and wake people up and make people understand what the hell is going on. Because let's face it, that was 4 years of total shit.
It absolutely was. I mean, the economy was destroyed. All the prices went up. You could feel it in your pockets when you went home at night. You're trying to feed your family of 1, 2, 3, or 5, it maybe even more. We felt it as the American people. And that's why you have the overwhelming votes for President Donald Trump in the previous election. All swing states won. The American people feel it. So the American people's power is still there, and your vote does matter. And President Donald Trump, he brought that back.
Yeah, he did. I thought we had Big Country on the way. He had sent me, I thought something was going on. He sent me Maverick inbound, call the ball, which call the ball like comes from the Q drops, but he said Maverick inbound, call the ball. And I said, I was like, oh my God, something's happening. And so I'm like looking up on Google and trying to find what's going on, like something breaking.
Hey, a Top Gun quote, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And I said, what do you mean? Because I can't find anything. And he said, never mind. Top Gun reference.
Yeah, just tell him too tall.
So that's what that was all about. I thought something was happening over in Iraq.
That's cool. We'd like to see Big Country,
but I'm assuming by Maverick inbound, that means he's on his way and he'll be joining us here in a minute. And I kind of want to hold off a little bit before we get into this next segment because Big Country's got a lot that he can talk about. Probably, I'm pretty sure he does with this next segment we're getting ready to get into. But while we're waiting, what do you got to bounce around on there for a few minutes?
Well, let's go into this Utah family. Let's see. Actually, let's go into the Border Patrol. Okay? I've got a video that I think this is just unique and interesting information. I don't know why it hasn't blown up as much as it has or should, but you've got the Border Patrol uncovered a drug tunnel that went from Tijuana, Mexico to San Diego, California. And this is
we got Big Country. We got Big Country. Okay, cool. Let's add him to the stage. There we go.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome my brother, Big Country.
Maverick is bound. He's here.
Have you been out working out, right?
Yeah.
At the gym? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get to listen to any of the show so far?
No, I couldn't get service down there, man. It sucks.
Oh, okay. Parabellum was getting ready to jump into something else here, but I think we may just go ahead and hold that until like where we had it lined up in the show. And
yeah, that's okay. We'll just move forward.
Let's you guys want to talk for a second? Let me remove some of these slides.
Yeah, we was just talking about, I don't know if you've seen it, Big Country, but the U.S. Border Patrol uncovered a drug smuggling tunnel from Tijuana to San Diego, California. And this was just during the California riots and everything that was going on. So that was just a little bit more stuff that just, I think, made Gavin Newsom in California look like a total piece of shit.
Right.
Yeah. Did you see any kind of information on that was going on with the underground tunnel?
I seen the headlines on it, man. I didn't get to read any of the details.
Yeah, well, that's okay. So I looked into it a little bit, dude, and It was crazy. So this has been in the works for years, obviously, and they're digging tunnels like they did out in Iraq when I was deployed. They had this tunnel in operation throughout the entire Biden administration. I can promise you that. And one of the big things that I take from that is that the Biden administration most likely had some of this information, and they did absolutely nothing about it. But what you see is a new DEA, a new FBI, a new Border Patrol under the President Trump administration. And I don't know about you, but if you watch any kind of news or anything that's going on here lately, there is something every day about what's going on with what the Border Patrol has done, what's the DEA has done, or anything. And I love to see that. What about you, Big Country?
Oh, of course, man. I mean, the Biden administration wasn't going to do anything about it. That's a direct pipeline of illegals coming across, the constant flow.
They loved it. They absolutely loved it. It's like they almost wanted the American people to be hooked on fentanyl. They wanted the death and destruction of, American people and the American way of life. It was, I just cannot stand what it was that that they didn't do anything.
Yeah, not to mention, I mean, that's pretty much voters on tap right there.
Absolutely.
Just turn on the faucet.
That explains California. Honestly, because I used to live out there in Santa Ana. There was a time in my life I lived in Santa Ana, South Orange, OC County. I was out there for a while in my life, and I can tell you that in my travels, that's some of the craziest people I ever met in my life.
Absolutely.
They make no sense out that way, my friend. And now maybe it's making sense because apparently they had a big drug tunnel smuggling all kinds of drugs out there, them Hollywood elites.
Absolutely.
All right, Hicks, go ahead, big dog.
All right. Wait 1 second here. It's not letting me load up the next.
Do I need to remove something?
Yeah, if you've got some video over there on the right that we've already went through, I'm going to try to remove the ones I went through too here. It's not letting me load up the next.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, we can only have up to 10. I'll go ahead and delete. Yep, there you go. Delete the Border Patrol. And there we go. Should be able to add one. Sorry about that, guys.
It's still not letting me upload the damn. Well, I'll just do it this way.
You should do it now.
That's all right. I got it this way right here.
Share screen.
I'm going to do it.
Big Country's upside down.
Yeah, I'm trying to take care of that. I had like 2% left on my battery on the way back from the gym, man.
All right, so
I'm on charge trying to figure out a way around this cable.
We're going to get into a segment that Big Country's really familiar with. Let's see here.
He's hanging upside down like a bat.
Yeah.
I'll do the blah.
Everybody get their tin foil and make them a little hat here and put it on to protect your brain, your cranium, because this shit's about to get weird. Let's go into the next segment of the show.
So this.
All right, weather manipulation.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that shit. Who knows about weather manipulation?
Raise your hand.
Come on.
I got to find my camera. There it is. I'd clip this from Google, and people, believe it or not, weather manipulation is a legitimate real thing. It's been going on since long before a lot of us were born, when they see the clouds for rain and stuff like that with the crops. But weather manipulation is a legitimate thing, and it's come a long way over all the years that it started coming around into its own. Weather manipulation, also known as weather modification, refers to the 1 second here, intentional act of altering atmospheric conditions using artificial methods. This can involve techniques like cloud seeding, just like I was talking about, cloud seeding, where they would seed the clouds to make it rain, where particles are introduced into the clouds to influence precipitation, or more complex approaches aim to basically, like, they can control hurricanes. Like this stuff, like I said, this stuff's been going on for a long time. So anybody got any thoughts on weather manipulation that they want to talk about real quick before we jump into this whole big discussion? Again, get your tinfoil hats on, because this is going to get crazy here.
It's just like anything else, man. I mean, farmers figured it out, like you said, back in the hell, I guess 30s and 40s. I'm not real sure about the dates, but just like everything else, they figured out how to weaponize it.
Yeah. It has been weaponized. And it's also
I can actually get behind you guys on this one. Go ahead.
Oh, it's also been used to, on we, the people of the United States and other countries, it's been used. Look outside every day, people. Watch the jets go by. When they go by, there's chemtrails and there's chemtrails. Chemtrails dissipate within a matter of a few hours. Chemtrails expand and stick in the air, and that's what we're seeing is the chemtrails, and that's what we are breathing in every day. That's what's causing it's the shit that they put out there in the atmosphere or in the sky to manipulate the weather, just like the cloud seeding stuff. Weather manipulation is real, and pay attention. Watch the jets go over. I've noticed for the past several months, like I can watch jets go over and know that it's going to be a monsoon here within the next couple of days. And sure enough, here in Kentucky, it's a monsoon within the next couple of days. Every single time. It's weather manipulation.
I see a whole lot of questionable things that's been going on for at least the last 25 years of my life when it comes to weather manipulation. I know that it started, even the earliest memory I can have of weather manipulation was when weather teams were trying to manipulate a lightning strike. I believe that's where it started for me. I didn't follow it as much as you guys, that maybe I need to go into it a little bit more, but I know that they can manipulate lightning strikes to strike exactly where they wanted it to strike. And I know that it's grown since then. So it's some pretty crazy stuff. I'm curious to see what it is that you guys know about weather manipulation.
We're getting ready to find out a whole lot right here. Lightning strikes is just a beginning, like the tip of the iceberg, right? Big
that was when I was young.
You guys want to watch this video here real quick?
Yeah, we can watch that afterwards. Hex, do you have any of the material that me and you found about the North and South Carolina?
Oh, North and South Carolina? No, I don't have that on hand. I tried.
About how of course, we always know conspiracy theory usually ends up turning into conspiracy fact, but how
every time
how the cobalt mine over in there was flooded so FEMA could move in and buy it for dirt cheap rates.
Yeah. That's exactly like me and Big Country were talking about this when all that hurricane and stuff was hitting down there. It was the courts too, wasn't it? Wasn't the courts a big part of that?
Yeah.
Because the only other large producer of quartz in the world, I think, is China, other than down there in Carolina.
Yep.
If I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
That was part of that. But yeah, all the hurricanes we've seen, all the storms that we get, the flooding we get, it's all controlled weather.
That particular hurricane, when it moved inland, it's the only one that they have on record too that maintained all of its energy that far inland. And you can watch it on the weather maps whenever they start hitting this thing with Doppler and NEXRAD radar to try to beef it up, and it unleashes hell right over North and South Carolina.
Yep, we were watching that night and
where
talking
that quartz
about
mine was.
Yep.
It's crazy.
It is. You guys want to jump into this? Oh, you got something else?
Oh, no, I was just going to mention all the types of radar that they can use to manipulate weather. We've got NEXRAD, Doppler, HARP, Duga. There's just, we're surrounded.
Do's.
Yeah.
Direct energy weapons. Do's and don'ts.
Yeah. NEXRAD and Doppler more so in this country than the HARP or the Duga. Those are more on our borders, but they're still very accurate.
But again, people keep in mind that, as we watch this next clip, it's not just weather manipulation. They have the ability to create earthquakes, to set off volcanoes. And again, I told you, put your tinfoil hats on because this shit's getting deep. This is shit that's really happening. So let's watch this clip here. Oh, wait a minute. 1 second. What happened?
Oh, did it switch on us?
Let me remove that from stage.
Yep.
There we go. And now let's try this again.
Well, now that President Trump is vowing full transparency, Americans are demanding answers to all of those chemtrails across our skies. RFK Jr.'s former running mate, Nicole Shanahan, just posted this on social media. Watch.
I was taking the weekend off the internet. I've been surfing this morning and was watching the planes flying overhead, and then I couldn't take it anymore. But that is not a contrail. That looked like it started as a contrail maybe, and now it's turning into a cloud. See how thick that is? You can see this one, it's a little further behind, and this one's a little bit further behind as well. This one is the one that's been up there longest. This shit has to end. This is ridiculous. It's like an otherwise perfect day.
This has to end, she says. Dane Wigington is the lead researcher and administrator for the website geoengineeringwatch.org. He's executive producer for the groundbreaking climate engineering documentary called The Dimming. I encourage all of you to watch that film. Dane has devoted the last 20 years of his life to constant research on the issue of covert global climate engineering operations, and he joins us now. Dane, welcome back to the show. Great to see you. First of all, I just want to get your sense of where things sit right now. This has been a lifelong fight for you to get answers about this. You've pointed out that these are toxic chemicals being sprayed. You have the film footage of these planes spraying these chemicals into the sky. It's in your documentary. Are you hoping that you were going to see some answers here under this Trump administration?
I was not holding my breath. And thank you, Clayton and Natalie, for your continued attention to this extremely dire issue that the vast majority still have no idea the gravity of. In regard to Nicole, I did interview with her, a 1-hour interview about 2 weeks ago. I'm hoping that gets posted soon. I'm very grateful to her for her attention on this issue. What have we seen since January 20th? We saw on January 21st, the most aggressive chemical ice nucleation cloud seeding operations we've seen to date. That was the blizzards in New Orleans, Florida, parts of Texas, along the Gulf Coast. At the same time, there were blizzards there along the U.S. Gulf Coast. We had above freezing temperatures and rain in Alaska, Greenland, Iceland, Siberia, Moscow. Nobody reports on that. So these events, again, blizzards on the Gulf Coast with moisture from the record room Gulf of Mexico, this is not nature. It's chemical ice nucleation, cloud seeding. It's engineered winter. And these are patented processes, Clayton and Natalie. It's not nature.
Wow.
Can you just break down what she means? What's a contrail versus a chemtrail? Are they the same thing, or is this vernacular?
No, they are not. What we see is a sprayed particulate dispersion. We're not guessing. Geoengineeringwatch.org and our groundbreaking documentary, The Dimming, over 25 million views on YouTube in spite of draconian social media censorship. We took a National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration flying lab, with top scientists in it, to altitude, sampled what heavy aircraft were emitting, processed that sample at Rensselaer Polytechnic in New York. That's a world-renowned lab, found exactly what we knew we would find, climate engineering elements starting with aluminum. Again, this is a sprayed particulate dispersion. We have up-close photographs of these aircrafts at geoengineeringwatch.org, nozzles visible, turning dispersions on and off. We have up-close photographs of the retrofit nozzles mounted on the wing pylons aimed into the exhaust jet stream to make this look like, quote, condensation. So, no, we are not seeing condensation. It's a sprayed particulate dispersion. We have film footage of it. End of argument.
I mean, Dane, you've been doing
contrails. She's talking condensation, that would otherwise be natural. And she says this is not natural. I get it now. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Go ahead. Okay.
So where are we then with this? I mean, we have so many people in our chat room that are just sick of this. They're sick of looking up into their skies. I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, Dane. You've devoted your life to this. They're sick of seeing this. We have so many viewers who have written to us saying how sick they've become as a result of it. Can you talk about what sort of effect this is having on human beings? What is it having? This effect is having on our bodies? And then who the hell is doing this?
It's affecting virtually every living thing. Primary element in climate engineering operations and patents, aluminum nanoparticles. Bioavailable aluminum is toxic to all life forms, period. No exceptions. We are all sucking this stuff in with every breath we take. Clayton and Natalie, do you remember all the reports of and it's ongoing, in fact, the fog and people getting sick in the fog? You guys probably saw that.
Yes. Yeah. In Pennsylvania during the atomic bomb, or even further? Or you're talking about recently?
Oh, this is right now. This is in recent months. I mean, we have extraordinary amounts of fog blanketing 10, 12 states at a time. Again, this is a result of chemical ice nucleation operations as well, because when you're creating a cold, dense, chemically induced layer of air at the surface, you're going to expand any kind of fog layer that's there, and that's exactly what's happening. It isn't just fog in this fog, and people are getting sick, and that's not their imagination. Again, we're testing precipitation, so we know that we have aluminum, barium, strontium, manganese, polymer fibers, surfactants, graphene. All of that is in our rain, which means it's in our breathable air column. Those are all climate injuring elements. And Clayton and Natalie.
All right. So that was cool. That was a little introduction into, like I said, this isn't just weather manipulation. This is DNA modification, in my opinion. And I wanted to pull up this Q drop here real quick. Why is it not pulling up? Oh, I guess I got to remove that from stage.
Yep.
Remove. There we go. And let's pop that up. So this is the last Q drop that Q had made, 4966. Q says, okay, so keep in mind as we read this little bit here, he was talking about all the aluminum and magnesium and all these other chemicals that's in these chemtrails, and that we're breathing that in.
Yep.
So Q says, what is coded in your DNA? Who put it there? Why? Mankind is repressed. We will be repressed no more. Information is knowledge. Knowledge is power. Information is power. How do you protect your DNA? There is a war for your DNA. Protect your DNA. Ascension. Q. So, like, I'd kind of got to some of this. I think it was back 2023. I was digging at this a little bit with the chemtrails because I started looking more into it. And I'm wondering, is there stuff in there that's affecting our DNA? And this goes with what we're getting ready to get into here in just a minute in this next clip. Big Country had just sent it to me, but things that are put in your DNA that you can be controlled by. So Big Country had sent me this clip and just now, and I've already got it. I'd had it lined up for the show. It's cool that he sent it because I was thinking the same exact thing, that this would be a perfect clip. So
before you play that clip, though, you was talking about all the metals that are contained, and this goes back to the chemtrails that you're talking about seeing in the sky right now. All those heavy metals, and I think I seen Parabellum with one, that digital crack pipe that he had there, one of those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow, baby.
One of the key components in those is nickel.
You love that nickel.
Those are all heavy metals. You know what those metals, whenever you vaporize them, what can control those? 5G signal.
Oh, a 5G signal, getting in the nanoparticles and being able to control. Yep.
Listen to this man right here. He's right, because I have read up on that shit.
Well, I'm not believing Q just yet, but we'll see. If I start and you start looking at this vape.
That's not Q. That's fact.
No, I'm just saying for mind control.
So one of the things you actually have to look back at is have you looked into any MK Ultra, that project?
That's what I was getting at.
Yep. I knew that's what you were getting at.
Yeah.
So, back in the
directed energy weapons, man, get familiar with them.
Yep. So MK Ultra back in the 60s, the government had this, and this is declassified. Like, there's a documentary on it. The place that it was actually performed at is now a tourist attraction. But back in the 60s, was it the 60s, Big Country? I'm thinking. Yep. So back in the 60s, our government was experimenting with mind control, and the program was called MK Ultra. So they were giving these people that's where LSD came from. Was the whole
that's
MK
actually
Ultra.
what it was created for.
Yeah, it was created to help control people's minds. So they lured these people in, and there's still lawsuits going on to this day because a lot of family members lost loved ones to this MK Ultra project. And they thought they were going in like it was just an innocent, government kind of trial thing that they were doing. And the next thing you know, they were being fed all these drugs and different metals put into their body and shit like that. And they had some pretty decent success with it back in the 60s. along with they also, if I'm not mistaken, they ended up raping some of the victims in that. But that was back in the 60s. Imagine how far that mind control has come from the 60s to now. And again, you can look this up on Google and read about MK Ultra. You can watch Netflix, I think, has a documentary on it. But let's get into, you guys ready to jump into this next clip, or has anybody got anything else?
Absolutely. I did want to we did have a comment from Miss Bev, and she did say, "You don't want to know what's in my vape." That lady's got issues, but we love her.
Tell her we're talking about controlling your mind, not losing it.
Trying to expand her mind. She is a Beatle fan.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I just noticed that the actual chat comes up on the screen. Does it come up for you guys too?
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
Oh, here. Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. I didn't know that come up on the screen.
You just go into the comments and you can click on it and it'll show the comment. Yep.
All right. Well, before we get into this next little clip, I want to remind everybody there's a like button down there on YouTube and one on Facebook. Hit those thumbs up. Let us know you like the show. And there's a live chat over on YouTube. And if you want to, there's a live chat on Facebook. I'm trying to monitor Facebook a little bit to see if anybody's in the chat. But by all means, if you want to jump in the chat, let us know you're there. Just say hi, whatever, on Facebook or YouTube. So by all means, please go down there and smash that thumbs up button. Give our show a like. Share the show with your friends. So you guys ready to move into this next little clip here?
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
All right. This is Eric Hecker. Is that how you say his last name?
Yep.
Let's watch this.
Yeah,
this is really interesting.
He's a contractor for Raytheon. That's kind of like the Halliburton.
Yep. I'd had a thing clipped on his I had a thing clipped on his background and meant to put it on the show tonight, but I just didn't get to add it into the slides. Didn't have time. But yeah, this is a legit guy, and listen to what he says. And again, if you've not made your tinfoil hats yet, make them, put them on. This is going to bake your brain right here.
What are you blowing the whistle on?
That there are technologies at the South Pole Station that people can't even consider that exist on this planet.
Like what?
Directed energy weapon systems is something that people need to get in their vocabulary fast. The ice cube neutrino detector is not simply a passive listening device as presented for the science that they're claiming it to do. It also has the capacity to transmit. There are embedded in the ice what are called digital optical mod DOMs. They're the size of a basketball. The array embedded in the ice is 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer. It is the world's largest telescope. And because we've proven that it can transmit, it's the world's largest directed energy weapons system. It is responsible for earthquakes in Christchurch, New Zealand in 2011 on the front end of the year.
How do you know for a fact that it was responsible for that?
Because I was present, and I have gone over this with the people that I will not be releasing names. But I was on the team, let's just say, and I've confirmed this. Well, I've provided documentation from the actual manufacturer's specs. So this unit was constructed, operated, and maintained by the University of Wisconsin, and just like the device on it, whether you're driving an M1 Abrams tank or operating the ice cube neutrino detector, there's operator's manuals that tell you how things work. Right there, that information, free for everybody to find. I found it myself. I was directed to find, I'll put it that way, and release this information. And it states very clearly that each one of these DOMs can transmit at 2,047 volts each. So these are currently the facts of life.
How do you know? I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, how did it even come to your attention that this triggered an earthquake? If you're at the South Pole and New Zealand had an earthquake, I mean, how did you know it came from the South Pole?
Without divulging names?
Without divulging names.
I could only say that it was communicated to me from team members that were present and fully read in at the time, that they were aware. And since that time...
at the immediate, like the same day?
Oh, absolutely. It was understood.
Well, what was said?
that we accidentally hit Church New Zealand twice when they were trying to fire up this weapon for the first time. That it was friendly fire. It was not on purpose, but it occurred. That the system is designed for that. And it was just friendly fire.
So this is a telescope. That sounds like a. Is it a telescope?
Absolutely, it is. It is a neutrino detector for sure. It can accomplish its primary purpose. It can also transmit and then provide a multifaceted platform for directed energy weapons systems.
Do you have any idea how the earthquake was initiated?
From misfiring the system.
Where
were they targeting?
Yes.
I don't know.
Does it go into the earth? Does it go into the atmosphere?
It can definitely go through the earth. I would consider that it might be able to do stuff in the atmosphere. I haven't heard that statement laid at its feet, but I wouldn't put it past it. I don't want to try to limit the functions of this device by my imagination or experience. I believe that's one of the problems with directed energy weapons is they are not like standard weapons of old where you have a gun and a particular caliber bullet, you pull the trigger and it does one thing. These platforms are way more complex than that. They do a lot of things.
What else do they do?
Excuse me. This system, additionally, in regards to the neutrinos, it detects the neutrinos that are apparently coming off of the new exotic propulsion systems for either off-world UFOs or reverse-engineered stuff on our planet.
What is neutrino?
Neutrino is a near massless particle that goes at, close, or beyond the speed of light. It is so small that it can pass between the electron shell and the nucleus of pretty much every atom on the planet. In the capacity of being detected at the South Pole Station, when the neutrino impacts the nucleus of the water molecule of the ice in the glaciers at the pole, a reaction occurs. The nucleus and the neutrino become destroyed. A muon is created and ejected, and a blue flash of light known as Cherenkov radiation flashes in the ice, and that's what the DOMs, the digital optical modules, are detecting. That's their primary purpose as presented. Now, whether that neutrino comes from a quasar out in space or a exotic propelled engine off of vehicles that aren't being discussed contemporarily, it detects it, thus making it basically an air traffic control center for all non-discussed vehicles on this planet. So just like we have all the other air traffic on the planet and it's being completely observed and attended to, there's just another level of craft on this planet and another level of air traffic control tower that exists. This is that facility.
There we go.
Back to tracking neutrinos. What is that? Why are they tracking those?
Oh, for the purposes of science, they're claiming that there's a lot to be ascertained by understanding the difference between low power and high power neutrino ejections from cosmic occurrences. It's about that vague. This is what they spend our tax dollars on.
Let's talk about what else do they do?
The device is also for faster than light communications, quantum entangled communications at great distance. In, I guess it was the late 80s or early 90s, Gary McKinnon hacked NASA. And he found the list of the off-world space fleet and the captains of the ships respectively. We have a fleet out there. If we have a fleet out there, we need to communicate with them. This is that facility.
Can you explain quantum entanglement communications?
Yes, I don't think most people understand what I'm about to say anyway, but I will. The way quantum entanglement works is that you can take two particles, quantum entangle them, and then take those two particles and move them at any distance in the cosmos. And let's just say, for example, if you quantum entangle two electrons and you have them spinning in the same direction, and then you take one of those electrons and you shoot that thing out 100,000 light years from the original. If you then rotate the spin on the one electron, if you modify it so that its spin changes, the quantum entangled electron at any distance will simultaneously, in no time, switch its rotation also because they're quantum entangled. So these communication systems are taking advantage of this aspect of quantum mechanics that most people can't wrap their heads around. And this is what they're utilizing. It's just the new level of science that affords us the ability to communicate at any distance instantaneously.
I've heard about this. I've tried to dig into it, and it's hard to understand.
It is hard to understand. It would be my my best way to put it is that when electricity first came out, it was very hard for a lot of people to understand what Nikola Tesla was getting at. But everyone was using it before they even understood it. And this is just where we are right now. It's just a new technology. It's a new conversation. People don't have to understand it yet. They just have to realize it's real.
What other kind of things can this?
Oh boy. Voice to skull technology. This is also in the foray of directed energy weapons.
What is that?
The ability to, let's just say, throw your voice into your head or my voice into my head, or allowing algorithms that now they can blanket a whole geographical area and they can make everybody change their thoughts. They can, I use the term intrusive thoughts. Back to that fork in the road analogy. If you find yourself where you have to make a decision about something, next thing you know, you catch yourself kind of having an argument in your head with your own voices. Well, the ability to add another one of your voices in there, but have it controlled by somebody else's microphone, so to say, is a very powerful tool. And I think this is a weapon of war that we are seeing happen to everyone around us. The Department of Defense recently started initiating protocols for their employees, their agents, to discuss Havana syndrome-like symptoms. And on that list is that their agents are hearing voices in their head. And this is what they're getting at. This is that technology that, next thing you know, you're trying to make a decision, but there's another Sean in your head that now is actually somebody else's control. And through the manipulation of that voice, they can now push you, just like we have, the cell phones are weaponized now, the social media platforms, and they can engage with an algorithm, and they know that they can push you in a direction by repetitive information being displayed in front of you.
Well,
are on, my friend. It's crazy.
Yeah, okay, me and Big Country we're talking about there. The voices in your head.
Thomas Crooks, man. Thomas Crooks.
Thomas Crooks, exactly. Thomas Crooks, among multiple others. I think a lot of these school shootings and stuff like that. They call them false flag events, but I don't think really people understand what that means is, it's a false flag event, but just like September 11th, false flag event, it was meant to, and there are people that die in this stuff. It doesn't mean that what you're seeing is fake. It's actually really happening, but it's all set up and staged. Thomas Crooks, 9/11, Columbine school shooting, all that stuff. It's where, again, what's been put in our heads, like this Q drop says, what is coded in your DNA? Who put it there? Is this shit, that we're breathing in with these chemtrails and stuff like that? Like, again, you had Big Country.
Who knows what the effects are?
Yeah. Well, Big Country there was talking about the metallics. We lost Big Country. Oh,
yeah, he'll be back in a minute. Here he comes.
There he is. All right. So, Big Country was talking about the metallics and stuff like that. And the whole thing with the voices in your head. I think that's a big play. I think a lot of what we've seen with a lot of these shootings and stuff like that was, even though there were false flag events, there were really people that died, but it was due to the deep state with projects like MK Ultra, the chemtrails, weather manipulation, and stuff you're breathing in. I think it all ties together.
And the scary thing about it is all those metals and materials that we're talking about that are so widespread is nobody's really safe from it. They've got the ability to pick anybody at any time for one of these false flag operations.
Like he was saying in that video, the ability to have, you got your own voices in your head when you're having a conversation with yourself in your head, but somebody to throw another voice in your head, your voice, but controlled by another microphone. That's crazy. I told you guys this was a big rabbit hole to go down and to get your tinfoil hats on.
Well, I can definitely see the connection as far as you go back to MK Ultra. You look at weather manipulation. You look into whatever's going on in look at the Avengers movies today, or any large movie. You know, back in the day when we was growing up, it was all about UFOs and flying cars. You know, but then now, if you look at today's movies and the Avengers and stuff like that, you've got those directional sound weapons. That's how we kind of held the Hulk back, kind of in that movie, you know, and stuff like that going on. But it's not too far of a stretch. I can't say
it's not far fetched at all.
Frequency is a big thing. I mean, look back at World War II. You know, Hitler had made that
frequency
one weapon
is huge.
Yeah, that one weapon.
Like if you have a wife that's a little too loud, or your lady, like that frequency.
That's a whole different frequency.
I'm kidding. I'm gonna get so much trouble.
Now that we're talking about mind control, something that Parabellum just said right there, it's on a little bit lower scale. I won't go as far as to say MK Ultra, but he's talking about seeing all these weapons that they use to hold the Hulk back, and
absolutely.
Seeing this shit on the Avengers, and not just them, but other movies. Predictive programming.
So many
programming.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's to normalize, right?
Yeah.
To normalize this. That's okay. It's been going on. And what do they call that effect? What is that called, Hex? Do you remember what's the name of that syndrome or whatever it is? You know,
Havana.
Say again.
Havana.
Well, not the Havana syndrome. Oh. No, what I'm talking about is when they normalize something through speech for so long. I'll have to look that up.
Oh, yeah, there is a term for that. I can't think of it right off the top of my head.
I thought you knew that. I'm sorry. You do.
Well, I do, but again, I can't think of it off the top of my head. It's like I'm having a brain fart on it. But
it basically goes back to the old saying, if you say a lie so many times it becomes the truth. That's basically what they're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, you looking it up there? While you're looking it up, I wanted to I was going to talk about World War II there. Go back to World War II. You know, Hitler had that weapon that we were talking about frequencies. Hitler had that weapon that used sound, and it made incoming soldiers that was going to attack like sick to their stomach and like do all kinds of shit like that. And that was in World War II that they had that weapon. So just think about. Like there's a whole lot of things with frequencies. One of the things with frequencies, like a lot of times when I go to sleep at night, I'll listen to a 432 megahertz frequency music to go to sleep.
God frequency, man.
Yeah, it is. And I'll listen to that to go to sleep. And it's like really soothing. It puts you to sleep, but also like I've read that it helps your body heal from sicknesses and stuff like that with that 432 megahertz frequency. Because right now, I mean, like all three of us are musicians. We all play guitar. So we know like standard tuning right now is 442E.
Yep.
That wasn't there's a fly. That wasn't the standard frequency or tuning frequency back a long time ago. It was changed from originally, I think, what was it? Big Country, it was 432 was the original tuning frequency because it was more in balance with nature and more like harmonic to your body and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they changed it to 440E, and it's like more chaotic standard, more chaotic kind of tuning in 440E. So frequency plays a big lot in our lives.
I can tell you, I kind of get down with frequency. I understand that 100%. You know, there's a lot of people out there, like I said, if a voice is too harsh, it totally shuts them down mentally, cognitively. I understand that 100%. But even as far as humans go, like I'm going to share my screen real quick. We can even get into how frequency, give me 1 second. Added stage here.
Biggie size that thing.
For plants. Let me make sure this is Biggie sized. Is that bigger, or did I hit the wrong button?
Nope, this one right here. I got you. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Let me remove the little show thing around it. There we go.
There you go. Okay, thank you. So even for like plants, I know that there was a huge study of in history, and maybe you guys seen this in your Facebook feeds. But while there's no single magic frequency for all plants, research suggests that frequencies between 100 and 1,000 hertz can be beneficial for plant growth. And the reason that I bring that up is, let's see if we can switch it back here. Here we go. The reason I bring that up, man, is I don't know if you guys seen the video of the guy that was growing tomato plants, and he set his, music to come on at a certain time every morning, and he grew tomato plants, dude. I'll bring that video up and see if we can go a little further, but they were absolutely astronomically big, and that was just based off frequency. So I do, and what would happen is that it would allow the leaves to open up their chromata, and then allow them to take in more nutrients. He would imitate the sounds of birds in the morning, and that's just frequency.
Yeah, I've seen a lot about that with growing plants and frequency.
Classical music is something that was real big for plants.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Classical music. Yeah.
It'll also keep every groundhog or human away from.
Well,
I gotta get some.
Another thing that they use on as far as the frequency and vibration goes too, and I've actually seen people around here do that, is they'll ground if they've got like you said, a tomato plant and it's in a bucket or just a planter outside. They'll take a big piece of copper wire and ground that plant to the earth.
Yes. Absolutely, I've seen that. What are we talking about? Put big copper stakes straight to the ground to be able to.
But because the resonant frequency from the earth, it'll take that in.
I've seen something with that too.
You're good.
As far as I've seen something with that too, like as far as like going barefoot outside and
it's called grounding.
You're more grounded with the earth and you resonate.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, why do we have copper knee pads? Why do we have copper bracelets?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that, maybe somewhere. I don't know.
I
kind of get down like
Tommy Copper.
Tommy Copper. That's what I was trying to think of.
Yeah, Tommy Copper, baby. I don't go all the way down the rabbit hole for me and my perspective, but I can kind of understand some things. I can get down with a little bit of it. It makes sense.
So, anyway, weather manipulation, guys. It's real. It's been going on for a long time. There's tons of evidence out there. There's tons of scientists that have uncovered this and showing that it's actually a legitimate thing. It's been going on.
They're not even trying to hide it anymore. Weather manipulation.
No, it's brazen. You had 20 years of Democrats. I mean, they've gotten brazen in their political beliefs. So why would they not get brazen in everything else that's going on?
If you're living here in Kentucky, where we live at, pay attention. Notice the jets going over and look at the trails.
Shit, look at the floods, man.
Well, I mean,
each one's a little worse than the last one.
Yeah, but also look at the jet streams going over the jet trails. If it's a calm trail, it's going to last for a long time. It's going to stay in the sky, and you'll see it for miles and miles and miles. If it's a con trail, it's going to dissipate really quick within a matter of a couple of hours, probably. Yeah. That's how you tell the difference. That's what we're looking at in the sky. It's weather manipulation. And again, what is being put in our DNA? What are we breathing in?
Yep. Absolutely.
So you guys ready to move into the next portion of the show?
Let's go.
All righty. We got some Iran news. This all started out. I found this on X, and it was a post by EXX Alerts, and it said rarely used nuclear sniffer plane takes off from Nebraska and has commenced flight pattern over the U.S. And I was like, okay, what's going on? And then EXX had posted screenshots of what type of plane. Hold on a minute, why does my mouse do that? And now my mouse is gone. I don't know where.
Oh no.
There it is. So anyway, they had posted screenshots of the plane and tell them what kind of plane it was. Boeing WC 135R. It was out of Phoenix. And if you look at the toward the right side of your screen of the United States map there, you'll see the flight pattern that it was going through. So we had that, and I kind of got a little description of the plane here, what it is. But so basically,
that was the flight pattern of the nuke sniffer plane that went on. So it went from Nebraska to basically North Dakota, and then done a U-turn and came back. Or?
Well, that was on it was circling, and I think that was on the 6th. Yeah, it was on the 16th. If you look at the post there on the far left of the screen.
Okay.
So that was on the 16th when that happened. I think it's actually done more since then. Like, I think what me and you, Parabellum, were talking about at pre-show, what's happened with that plane since then.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So anyway, this plane was a WC 135, part of the 55th wing at how do you pronounce that, Parabellum? You pronounced it before that. What's the name of the OFF? Offutt?
Well, let me see. Where you at?
Far right, highlighted in blue.
Oh, yeah, the Offutt Air Force Base.
Yeah, it was part of the 55th wing of the Offutt Air Force Base, which I found that pretty interesting because we're been getting a lot of 5.5 comms. But anyway, I've got a little clip here of this
so
is
does it mean that like they're looking for some of this enriched uranium or anything that's going on with Iran? Is that where we're getting at? Or
throwing off a radioactive signal.
Well, I remember seeing something that was in Iran, and there was some reports that there was some oddly, radiation and enriched uranium signals coming off. I don't know if the sniffer plane did that, but
all this enriched uranium leads back to the U1 scandal with Obama.
Mm-hmm.
Just for my own curiosity, isn't this plane or one like it also used in the event of a nuclear attack for government VIPs and higher ups to get them airborne?
You got the doomsday plane.
That's what we were getting at earlier.
We'll get into a little later on. You have the doomsday, and that did show up on the tarmac of the United States here recently. And I think we'll have a little bit of information for that later.
Yep. So we got that, and then I've got this clip here of New York Post had put this out the other day, and I'd clipped it from it. I thought it was really interesting, really giving a little bit more take on what was going on with that plane. So let's watch it.
First up, the battle between Israel and Iran rages on as the whole world sits and waits to see what the U.S. will do. President Trump telling reporters in the Oval Office Wednesday that, quote, "You have to do what you have to do, and maybe we don't have to fight." Meanwhile, the war of words continues. Iran's supreme leader has resorted to name-calling, sniping that President Trump is a, quote, has-been warmonger, as Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to keep going with the attacks. And he added that it's just too late to restart nuclear talks. And while President Trump mulls things over, flight trackers made an interesting and possibly ominous discovery. An E-4B night watch. Now, if that doesn't automatically get your attention, how about this? It's also called a doomsday plane. The aircraft is designed to keep our U.S. government functioning and operating during nuclear war, and it was spotted taking a long looping flight from Louisiana to Andrews Air Force Base, which is, of course, the home of Air Force One and the presidential fleet.
So, doomsday plane. But you guys with me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if I lost you or not. I couldn't hear anything. So that was pretty much a little rundown of the plane. 1 second here. Let me remove that from
Any
stage.
speculation on why it might have been in the air?
My speculation.
What do you guys think? A scare tactic?
Well,
I think it's diplomatic.
I'm leaning more towards scare tactic. This is based off Q stuff because Q says scare necessary event.
Yeah.
And again, I've made this point. What could be more scary than the threat of nuclear war on the United States?
Yep.
And maybe not a scare tactic, but I guess what I'm really getting at is more of an eye opener tactic to where people start looking at this stuff a little more and paying attention, because we had this whole thing with Iran breakout, and like we're right now, they're talking about using tactical nukes and dirty bombs, or not dirty bombs, but bunker buster bombs. So I think this was something to possibly maybe get the people's eyes on what's going on and pay attention.
Absolutely. I think it was a diplomatic power move from President Donald Trump. He just came out and he does exactly what President Donald Trump does. He comes out and he lets you know, look, I'm looking for a diplomatic solution, but I'm gonna bring my Tom Holman out. I ain't scared to drop a bunker buster, you sons of bitches. Okay, and I think he does it best. You know what I mean?
I guess that's kind of how I should have worded it. Not necessarily a scare tactic, but kind of flexing his muscle, so to speak.
He's flexing, man, because that's the number one thing. If you go back to the campaign, Donald Trump's first campaign, what was the big thing that went around and why he gained so much respect in his first campaign? Nobody knew what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the American public and all the world leaders, they got 4 years to understand Donald Trump, and then they got 4 years in the Joe Biden administration to understand a little bit more about Donald Trump. So one would think that maybe they think that they're getting a little bit of an eye on who Donald Trump is and what he may or may not do. But I think this is a total power move by President Donald Trump yet again in 5D chess to be able to say, look, keeping my cards close to my chest. This is how it is done in the United States. We hold our cards close to our chest. Just because I'm looking for a diplomatic solution, you should not make the mistake of thinking that I won't drop a bomb on your ass. And you know what?
Don't mistake my kindness for weakness.
Yeah, don't do that. That's the American way, And I think President Donald Trump's just putting that practically out there, and politically for a lot of the world to see. They need to be reminded of what it once was like. Like I always said, since JFK, there's somebody that, done a lot of the same things. Yeah, don't mistake my kindness for weakness. Yeah, be reminded of why we're American, and he done a great job.
Promises made, promises kept.
Absolutely.
Right out of queue, straight out of queue. So on the 16th, we all, this was breaking news at that time. Trump request NSC, National Security Council, to be prepared for a situation room. And that was for Inside Paper had posted that, and I guess it was a Fox News article. So we had that happen, and then shit started heating up a little bit more, and then we had this post on the center top of the screen. Just in, Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu says today it's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. That kind of got my eyes open real big. Oh, are we going to see the scare necessary event?
Well, absolutely, yeah. That is a diplomatic power move from Israel. Israel, they are allies, and I have absolute respect for them, and I would absolutely go to war for those guys.
Yes.
They're bad to the bone, but
I think Iran was trying to. I think Iran was trying to flex their muscles on the world stage with what we've seen here lately.
They are, and I think they was trying to do it respectfully with President Donald Trump because they have so much respect for him. I think that's what that.
No, Iran, not Israel.
Oh, I'm sorry, Israel is what I'm saying.
I think Iran was trying to
we need your bunker busters, and we need your help to be able to do this, and we do need your involvement in this war. And I think that was honestly a flex on Israel's part, and that's nothing against them. They're playing the game just like we're playing the game. Yeah.
What I was getting at with this is I think Iran, those shitbags. Well, not the people of Iran. I think the people of Iran are pretty good, and I think we're going to get into that here in a little bit too. But
absolutely, yeah.
The leadership in Iran was trying to flex their muscles on the world stage with this whole entire thing and bucking up against Trump and stuff like that. So, again, Netanyahu said that today Tel Aviv, tomorrow New York, and that made me think of that scare necessary event once again. Is at that time I was thinking, is Iran going to try to lob a nuke in on us or have a dirty bomb in the U.S. because this all goes back to Obama with the uranium scandal. Where did plus Biden too, but where did Iran get all that uranium?
Oh yeah.
Uranium One scandal. And then where did Iran get all that finance they have? Because Obama stopped sanctions, or not Obama, but Biden stopped sanctions on Iran when he was president, and they got a shit ton of funding. So they had uranium, they had funding, and they started doing this shit. You didn't hear anything out of Iran when Trump had sanctions and stuff on them until Obama or Biden come into office and removed the sanctions.
Oh yeah, and gave them all kinds of money to Iran. And that's another part of the big story that's going on is that the Biden administration absolutely funded what's going on today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they absolutely funded it by releasing that sanctioned money for Iran in order to help them to become, uranium enrichment and almost a nuclear power, or for them to be able to move further in their nuclear quest. That's the Biden administration, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. So then as this progressed, we had Chinese embassy advising citizens to leave Israel through land border crossings as soon as possible. So, that went down that night too. And then we had Gunther Engelman had posted this, and it was millions of people fleeing. One second, let me move that out of the way. Millions of people fleeing Tehran that night. So I think I've got a clip of that. Let me pull that up real quick. And this is what it looked like there that night.
Absolutely insane.
That's what went down that night. All that took place. Then you had Trump on Truth Social. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. You had Trump on Truth Social had put a couple posts out on the 17th, the day after, and top post says, "We know exactly where the so-called supreme leader is hiding. He is an easy target." I have no doubt that Trump knew where he was hiding. I have no doubt that Trump didn't know what that motherfucker had for breakfast that morning.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
You remember his previous administration? I mean, what is it? He sent a picture.
To what's his name? Saudi Arabia dude.
Oh Lord, I can't remember. I had to look it up.
He showed him a picture of a satellite photo of his house. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. And he's like, "Make the deal happen."
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the stuff that President Donald Trump does, and that's why he's loved by so many Americans that feel like they've been forgotten, And this is yet another example of where he is just basically, people don't know him for military strategy. They know him for business, and that is exactly what the United States economy needs. But I do think he has a military mindset as well, because as a prior service Army combat veteran, I'm going to tell you, a leader, a commander in chief like Donald Trump, when he does stuff like this, it makes me want to rejoin. It makes me want to go back up and fight on the front line. So when you get those feelings, you have a leader. These are not the feelings that you got when you had Joe Biden as the president. But, and to move a little further into that, a great thing that I believe is going on, we now have complete and total control of the skies over Iran. So that's huge. Anybody with any kind of military strategy or war, war strategy understands that if you dominate the skies,
that was that drop right there.
Yes, you win, man.
That is by Trump.
Yeah. You dominate the skies, you got a better chance. Yes, absolutely. You got the high ground. This has been since Western days. Okay, we're standing on the cliff.
I have the high ground, Anakin.
Hey, game over, dude. So for Iran to try and continue to do missile strikes, and they're going back and forth, to me, it is nothing but bluffs from Iran. Yep. They are trying to put a bluff out there and do
again. They're trying to flex their muscle on the world stage. In my opinion.
But guess what? The high ground has been taken by Israel. You lose, dude.
So, Trump said no boots on the ground, and like if you look at that top post there in the slide, Trump says, he's talking about we're not going to kill him, at least for now, but we don't want missiles shot at the civilians. And I think that's a good stance, because I think that would be a bad look on the Trump administration if they shot missiles into Iran and put boots on the ground, or not missiles, but missiles into civilians. But I think it would be a bad look if we even put boots on the ground there. I think Trump is letting Netanyahu take care of this, because it helps with
the
whole overall thing.
Well, I think President Donald Trump understands the diplomatic position that is needed for this time. If you look back at the Iraqi War on Freedom, when he said, okay, let's drop the mother of all bombs, guess what? He was not afraid to drop the mother of all bombs. And I know Iran knows this. They understand this. Look, if I'm in a position to be able to do something like that and drop the mother of all bombs, don't think for a second I won't flip that plastic switch and hit that red, hit the red switch and drop the mother of all bombs to be able to take out a problem that's going on. But I think, it's really respectful on President Donald Trump's side that he understands that we need to go for a more diplomatic solution, because the world stage and the economies, of the United States, and not even just the United States, but the world economies need good business right now. And how do you get good business? Well, it's not in war. I can tell you. You get good business in war if you're the one creating it and you can do it for yourself. But I'm talking about President Donald Trump is looking for peace and diplomatic solutions, because he understands that good business for everybody happens in time of peace.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's a smart man.
Peace through strength. I wanted to point out too that both of these posts were made on the 17th. Okay. Q.
Oh yeah.
So anyway, since I'm pointing that out, there you go. Since we're pointing that out, that both these posts were made on the 17th. Q. I wanted to also play this little clip right here, and this is Scotty Films. It's a Iran video that Scotty Films had made based off of some Q drops and what we're seeing right now. So let's give this a play, and you guys want to talk about it on the backside, we'll talk about it. Here we go.
I don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
It starts with
one thing. I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time. All I know, time is a valuable thing. Watch it fly by as the pendulum swings. Watch it count down to the end of the day. The clock takes life away. It's so unreal. Didn't look out below. Watch the time go right out the window. Trying to hold on to didn't even know I wasted it all just to watch you go. I kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to be will eventually be a memory of a time I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to remind myself how I tried so hard. In spite of the way you were mocking me, acting like I was part of your property, remembering all the times you fought with me, I'm surprised it got so. Things aren't the way they were before. You wouldn't even recognize me anymore. Not that you knew me back then, but it all comes back to me in the end. You kept everything inside, and even though I tried, it all fell apart. What it meant to me will eventually be a memory of a time when I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I had to fall to lose it all, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. I've put my trust in you, pushed as far as I can go. For all this, there's only one thing you should know. I've put my
Stay tuned and watch Red October.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end, a real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that would be permanent.
Yeah, or giving up entirely. That's okay too.
Are you close there? Is that possible? Is that possible in the next 24
Why not? Certainly possible. Complete give up. That's possible. Yeah.
All right, so all roads lead to Obama. Everything in that pointed to Obama with the Q drops and the
I wouldn't put it past Obama.
The Uranium One scandal. That's where this is all leading. So that was interesting. But what really, like, I had made a little clip here of my I done a screen capture scrolling through Truth Social, and Trump had reposted this guy's video and a clip from it, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Let's take a look at it real quick. All right, so last night, June 16th, Donald Trump retruth Iran should sign the deal. We just went over that, and he's retruthing Ryan Cal, who just made the video we just watched. So that was pretty cool that he retruthed that.
Yeah.
Tell me again, Trump is not part of Q theme. Tell me again, Trump is not Q plus. Trump is Q plus.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't think so yet.
You're still not there.
Be that one guy, dude.
You're still not there. That's okay.
I think he's just smart. He's like fucking Napoleon, you know?
Well, Q mentions 5D chess. But
I got to keep my stance, X. I got to keep it, big country.
That's all right. That's all right. We also had this on the 17th from Trump. I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks in any way, shape, form. This is just more highly fabricated fake news. If they want to talk, they know where to reach me. They should have taken the deal. You know, just like we watched in that drop, they should have taken the deal, or not that drop, that video that was on the table. Would have saved a lot of lives. So the things I've highlighted some stuff in this right down below his post, and it says, I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks. I highlighted that. Then I highlighted the deal was on the table, and I highlighted they should have taken it. And this was on June 17th. Again, 17th. We always get Q comms on the 17th from a lot of these people. Trump, Scavino, we've got Cash. Elon's even had some Q comms on the 17th. But anyway, June 17th, and the time was 5:20 a.m. So what I've done is I've took Trump's post, and yeah, check this shit out right here. So I've took Trump's post, and what I've highlighted in the previous slide there, we have not reached out to Iran for peace talks. And if you look over at Q, you know, the timestamp on this was 5:20 when Trump made that. So I'm pointing at Q 5:20. So if you look over, I've broke 5:20 down into a couple segments here. But if you look right over where it says at the top left of the screen, I have not reached out to Iran for peace talks, and follow that red line over. There is no escape. There is no deals. And Trump says back to the left side of the screen, they should have taken the deal while it was on the table. Like all that points to that part of the Q drop. Again, 17th Q right there in the center of the screen with the date, and then 5:20 going over to 5:20. 5:20 starts out talking big news week, and we've had a really big news week in my opinion, especially with the Iran stuff. Future proofs past. What news was unlocked? I think a whole lot of the Uranium One scandal was unlocked or starting to get unlocked this week. Do you believe in coincidence? U1, which Q's referring to Uranium One. What public disclosure occurred? RE-U1. So then it ends with DEFCON 1, non-nuke faults. I don't think nukes are going to be used in this at all. And even if Iran shoots a nuke, in my opinion, I don't think that it's going to make it to the United States, even if they try to pull off a dirty bomb like with the uranium and stuff in the U.S. I don't think it's going to succeed. But
they don't have that kind of capability yet.
If anybody's unfamiliar with what the Uranium One scandal was, I'll give you a little bit of rundown on it here. Russia had acquired a Canadian uranium mine, now called Uranium One. Uranium is a key material for making nuclear weapons. This deal required that none of the uranium be exported. It wasn't allowed to be exported. Moscow paid millions of dollars to lobbying firms to help Bill Clinton's charities in order to influence Hillary Clinton, who was at that time, Hillary was the former Secretary of State to Barack Obama. So she was paid to try to influence that administration. One second here. Let me pull my notes back up here. The APCO. What the hell? My mouse is going crazy. Anyway, a portion of that from the APCO. APCO is Association of Public Communications Officials. So there was supposed to be $3 million annually in lobby fees that was received from all that was going on. So basically, this all boils down to Hillary Clinton, and the Clinton Initiative was part of this objective to influence the Obama administration into going with this Uranium One thing. So again, all roads lead to Obama, but that's like a really brief, quick rundown on what all that was with the Uranium One scandal. Sorry, I tried.
Knowing what's inside of that Ferdo site in, I guess that's how you say it, in Iran, could that be a reason why, say, a bunker buster hasn't been dropped on it yet to destroy it, to give them a chance to gather evidence on U1?
That could be a possibility. One of the other things too, I was thinking with this was, I think the whole deals went down with Iran and Trump and Israel. I think that the deal's already done. I think now, okay, do you guys remember back when Trump was in office the first time and he was going to North Korea? And what was the news screaming? He's going to start World War III. He's going to start World War III.
Yeah.
Well, here's you something, Parabellum.
Yeah.
Q told us in advance that the deal was already done with Kim Jong-un and Trump. And what we were seeing, what we're getting ready to see was pretty much just playing out. And I think this is how this is going. I think the whole thing with Trump and Bibi Netanyahu and what's his name over there in Iran, I think all this deal has been already done. And now we're just watching some stuff play out. Because you had Trump.
Anybody can defuse the nuclear situation. I'm going to say it's President Donald Trump from his 45th term, like you said, with Kim Jong-un.
You had Trump calling for evacuation of Tehran, or was it Tehran or Tel Aviv?
I think it was Tehran.
Yeah, it was Tehran or Tehran or however you
want to say it. Yeah. Anyway, like he was telling people to get out of there. We're gonna, and I'm thinking, he hit the deal went down, and this was his mindset: is we're going to do this plan, we're going to pull it off, get the hell out of there. And it's all, a lot of this is optics to let the rest of the world watch how this is going to play out after the deal's been done. Just like the whole thing with Kim Jong-un and North Korea back when he was in office the first time. He didn't start World War III.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying about the Uranium One scandal too. If he's got Xi on board, if he's got Kim Jong-un on board, Khomeini's on board, and the deal's already been done with Iran, like I said, rather than drop a bunker buster on it and destroy it all, anything that he can gather over there at this point is just going to trace back to major players in the U.S.
Yep, exactly. 100%.
All roads lead to BO, man.
What we're seeing right now is optics.
Yeah.
So,
well, I can tell you, as far as that goes, like for me, I get all that, and I agree with the majority of that. I do agree with it 100%. But I think we just see a common sense situation. If you look at the history of Iran, from my perspective, they are known to, not keep their nuclear deals and treaties that they've ever had. This has been going on for 25 plus years with Iran. They've been doing this forever. So anybody and everybody knows that if Iran says they're not going to do nuclear, and keep a deal with you, they're not going to, they're not going to do it if they say they're going to. I promise you that. Well, I'd like to add to the stage real quick. That's okay.
Okay, go ahead. Let me remove. Well, fuck, my mouse is being crazy. There it went. All
so
right,
this is something from 2015. Can you make that large? Thank you.
Yep, gotcha.
So 2015, signed in 2015 by Iran and several world powers, including the United States and the JCPOA, placed significant restrictions on Iran's nuclear program in exchange for, you know what, sanction reliefs. Who's a big fan of sanctions? President Trump withdrew the United States from the deal in 2018, and he claimed it failed to curtail Iran's missile program and regional influence. So he basically said, hey, this shit ain't working. Iran began ignoring limitations on its nuclear program 1 year later. So there you go. You've got Iran since 2015, and it curtails all the way into present day, where they tell you something and they don't keep their word. Washington and Tehran have both said that they would return to the original deal, but they disagree on the steps to get there. So this has been going on for a very, very long time. Just a little bit more into this. It's just the basic introduction. The Iran nuclear agreement, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, is a landmark accord reached between Iran and several world powers, including the United States, in July of 2015. Under its terms, Iran agreed to dismantle much of its nuclear program and open its facilities to more extensive international inspections in exchange for billions of dollars worth of sanction relief. So, with that being said, like from my point of view, man, like in the commonsensical view of things, is that we've known this shit's been going on with Iran for a very long time, and we gave them so much rope to hang themselves, and yet they continue to hang themselves with it. They do it time and time again, and I think that puts President Donald Trump in a position where he is doing exactly what he needs to do in this moment. We've been here before. I will tell you these things. I'll put it on the world stage, but don't think for a second I will not drop your ass because I know you're a liar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get that. And that's nothing against the Q perspective or anything. I absolutely respect that. And it's just from my point of view.
Like you said,
it's very easy to drop information from 20 years of experiences to be able to say, hey, this happened because of this. But I got to bring it in nasty.
Well, like Q says, where we go on, we go on. Like I've said numerous times, we're all in this fight together, whether you're a logical news and MAGA supporter or whether you follow Q, we're all in this fight together.
Absolutely.
We're all going for the same goal in the end, to take back
that's
our
why
country.
Me and you work, Hex, and that's why we work Big Country, because I understand that and you understand that, and this is one of the few platforms in which you actually have that on similar same cues, different views. This is what you get. You get two different views of someone going down a rabbit hole, and we are still buddies.
And we got this guy down here, Big Country, who is a logical news thinker, who also is a Q guy.
Yeah, well, I can get down with some of the information, and that's not me heckling you or anything like that. It's just that
3 ring ballots.
For me, yes, absolutely. The Trinity, so to speak. For me, this is a problem that's been ongoing for a very long time. And I think President Donald Trump's made a very diplomatic resolution.
Absolutely.
All right. So let's start wrapping up the rest of this segment here. That top left of the screen is a Trump post on Twitter. And it was from 2018. And Trump says, never gotten over the fact that Obama was able to send 1.7. Imagine that, 1.7.
Put it on there. Put it on the screen.
Yes. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, 1.7
million. What do you think that means?
There you go. So,
is there a Q drop?
Never gotten over the fact that Obama was able to send $1.7 billion in cash to Iran. And nobody in Congress, the FBI, or Justice called for an investigation. So that links right up with Q786, and this was put out a little later, and Q was quoting Trump's post there, and Q has the same thing in that top there in red. But then Q says, reread crumbs. Is this the reason this is being brought back up? Because, like, I think, again, the whole U1 scandal and all that money that Obama had sent is starting to be brought back up now. There is a purpose for every tweet and crumbs that's dropped. Follow the money, future proves past. So we have that. And then we had Trump post, again, this post on the 17th. Trump says, we know, I think I just had this up, didn't I? Yeah. He's not reached agreement for peace talks. And in this drop, Trump saying, or in this post, Trump saying he's not reached agreement for peace talks. They should have taken the deal. And what's in this drop over here on the right side of the screen? No escapes, no deals. Trust the plan. Happy Sunday. So happy Sunday makes me wonder, are we going to see something with Iran possibly Sunday resolving all this stuff? I mean, that's my thoughts on it, because we've got, let me pull this up. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but we had a Iranian resistance. One second here. Yeah. We had this lady, Iran resistance leader calls for regime change amid Israel-Iran conflict. And me personally, I don't think the United States is going to have anything to do with the regime change, and I don't think we should have anything to do with the regime change, because it was Operation Gladio that put that regime into place anyway, in my opinion and what I've come across. Operation Gladio, something you guys should
get down with you on that.
Yeah.
100%. I don't think we need to be involved. Look at Iraq. And then, every 4 years, you may have a different administration.
So,
it's hard to keep that same consistent plan.
What Operation Gladio does is, and you can't find a whole lot about this online because it's like really classified stuff, but what little bit has came out about it, and from what I gather from it, from people who had put stuff out that had a little bit of ties to Operation Gladio, is the CIA and the American government went into countries, and I think we talked about this on one of our episodes, but they had went into countries and they had took out a good leadership and installed their own puppet government system, and that's what happened in Iran.
Well, that's what happened in Iraq. We're trying to install Iraqi freedom and install democracy, and then you get Joe Biden, and he pulls out quicker than he did on coal. And it absolutely fell apart. And then the Taliban took over immediately. So what was all those years and what was all those lives for?
Yep.
That's my point in saying, you know what? They need to figure it out. And I'm glad Donald Trump is where he's at.
Yep.
It doesn't mean the American force is afraid, because we love fucking shit up. We love blowing shit up. We'll go in there and run a tank over a car just for fun. We love that shit. But
we're going to take over it and build a Walmart.
We live to pull the trigger. I mean, these gentlemen are amazing.
Sorry, didn't mean to plug Walmart, because Walmart's a piece of shit right now.
Yeah.
They
dollar store up, man.
Yeah. Dollar store. There you go. Dollar stores pop up everywhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of a little clip there if you want to give it a read, Parabellum.
Okay, so this is the Iran resistance leader calls for regime change amid Israel and the Iran conflict. President-elect of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, Maryam Rajavi, on Wednesday told the European Parliament the only way to bring about peace in the Middle East is a regime change in Iran, which is now exchanging airstrikes with Israel. She told members of the Parliament of the European Union the change must be made by the people of Iran and the organized resistors. And I'm glad that you put that up, because
I agree with that.
I do too, 100%.
Let the people do it. And if anybody's seen any information, I don't have a clip for it, but it was something that me and Hex was talking about, was that, did you guys see where the Iranian state TV was hacked? And it was basically sending a message that the people of Iran should stand up against the regime.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'd seen something about that on X. I didn't get to dig too much into it though.
Yes.
I've seen that.
Yep. I mean, absolutely. I mean, people are people, and I think people got it figured out. When it comes to the 2024 election, okay, people may make mistakes, but then they get it figured out. And whether you're in the United States or you're in Iran or you're in France or Europe or Australia or anywhere that you may be, hey, sometimes you might be a step behind, but then sometimes you might be a step ahead. And I think that's exactly the way that it works in this world, and I think the people understand that it's the time for this to happen, and the people need to make a change for Iran. And I think what President Donald Trump is doing to be able to take a stand back, even though we know he is a badass president and has no problem, dropping the mother of all bombs or kicking somebody's ass because he knows he is right and it's what's best for the country. For him to be able to take a step back and say, let's be diplomatic, I think that's a little bit bigger than what a lot of liberal legacy media outlets are reporting. They fail to report that, because that's what normal Americans see. That's what we see. I don't know if you guys agree with me, but.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
You guys ready to get some badass clips?
Uh-oh, hold on. I know one person that is. Shablama. There she is again, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. Since we've been talking about Iran, we got some badass clips lined up for you. Or actually, I've got a few lined up. If you guys have some, feel free to share your screen, put them on the stage, and we'll play them. But I've got a couple here lined up. But since we've been on the subject of Iran, I wanted to play this one. This is really good. So check this shit out.
Bam, 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 Iran. 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 What country's got a feeling really hit the ceiling? Bam, Iran. Bam, 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 Iran. Went to a mosque, gonna throw some rocks. Tell the Ayatollah, gonna put you in a box. Bam, Iran. Bam, 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 bam. Into a parking lot by my red bomb, 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 Iran. The country's got a feeling, really.
Bomb Iran. I love that. I thought that was hilarious. This one, anybody want to talk about the one we just watched, or?
Oh, that was great, dude. That's, believe it or not, that's one of my children's favorite songs. They love it. And they're running around, all three of them, singing this song, every day throughout my life. But to be able to hear it for, my political beliefs.
Bomb Iran.
Absolutely great.
Going to the mosque, going to throw some rocks. This next one, this one, when I seen this next one, it cracked me up. My buddy Sean Chaffins had sent me this on Facebook. I think this is the one he sent me. And
I was looking to see if Sean made it at the show tonight. Next time.
Hey, Sean, if you're in here, give us a little shout out on Facebook or on YouTube, whichever you're watching on, in the comments or live chat.
Well, brother, man, we ain't scared. We just talk.
Let us know you're in here. Sean sent me two good clips, badass clips for tonight. And I think this one that I'm getting ready to play is one of them. And I've saved the best one for last because the best one cracked. It didn't crack me up. It made me go, yeah, that's fucking badass. But check this one out. This one, I almost had tears in my eyes when I watched this one. It was hilarious. So check this shit out.
Y'all gotta forgive me, I'm a little distracted. This is the first show I've ever done with an interpreter. This is fucking cool right now. Well, I'm trying to learn shit. Retard. Democrat. It's just the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. I knew it. Democrat. Retard. Democrat. Dude, you gotta be kidding me. Are you kidding me? I did not set this up, Democrat. It's the same thing.
I love that clip.
I quit. Mommy, good night. I love it.
Democrat retard. It's the same thing. What you guys think about? What you guys think about that one?
Yes.
Go ahead, big country. That's great, man.
Oh, that one kicked my ass when I seen it.
Look, that's why I wake up and drink coffee right there. Okay? It's not liberal tears, it's coffee. And that's why I watch that stuff.
So I had some badass memes lined up for tonight, but we're kind of running over on time. So I'm trying to wrap this up kind of quick. But we'll finish out the rest of these badass clips here. Or not badass memes, mostly peaceful memes. But we'll save them for next week. Anyway, let's watch this next little clip here. You guys want to play it?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, let's go. That's pretty cool. But this is the best one.
You get that wok grill going on, I'll tell you.
Give me 1 second here. I'm missing a. Let me pull this up here. And
there was a couple other things that happened. I don't know if we have time for that, but you had
go ahead.
the RFK and the MAHA movement that was going on, and two of the big food giants came out and said they're removing a lot of the synthetic dyes and petroleum dyes out of a lot of food that's
oh yeah, I forgot all about that. We had that on the show tonight. Go ahead and get into that.
So RFK, he came out and recently announced, and I do have a video clip of this. I'll share with you guys. I won't do the whole video clip. We'll just hit some of the highlights here. But you got General Mills and you got Heinz that came out, and they said that even though 70 to 85% of their products are already free of synthetic dyes, they will be making a commitment to be able to remove the remaining part of the chemical dyes out of the food. And I think that's a great thing, man. And I want to give a shout out to our previous guest, Beth Ousley, and this one is for you to be able to put out synthetic dyes being removed from children for Make America Healthy Again.
The vibrant colors that have made some of America's most iconic foods pop are being toned down. Both Kraft Heinz and General Mills announcing that no new products will contain synthetic color additives, with a 2.5-year goal of being completely dye-free.
Thank you.
Schools serving General Mills cereals and foods will see the shift by next summer. The company did not specify which brands would be impacted. For Kraft Heinz, the change is poised to include items like Jell-O and Kool-Aid. Both companies say the vast majority of their U.S. products are already free of artificial colors, efforts that are accelerating under pressure from the Make America Healthy Again agenda. In April, the FDA announced work towards a complete phase-out of petroleum-based synthetic dyes.
American children have increasingly been living in a toxic soup of synthetic chemicals.
We're going to get rid of every ingredient and additive in school in food that we can legally address.
There are still 8 artificial dyes approved for use by the FDA. In January, red dye 3 was removed from that list after studies linked it to cancer in rats. No link was found in human studies. Other research has suggested synthetic dyes could cause behavioral issues in children. According to the Mayo Clinic, there is no solid evidence to back that up. Quote, but there aren't any health benefits associated with artificial colors, so removing them from foods isn't a bad idea. Now, some common natural dyes include turmeric powder, beetroot, and paprika. They aren't quite as vibrant in foods, but if you're worried about your ketchup taking on a murkier hue, Kraft Heinz says don't be, stating that the red you see is from tomatoes alone.
There you go. That's a little bit of an update of what's going on in the MAHA world.
Yeah, that's great that they're removing that.
I think
that kind of
it's
stuff.
absolutely phenomenal for that to be able to happen, dude.
Well, I think a lot of what, like with the diabetes, the cancer, the high blood pressure, cholesterol, like
Yeah.
all these diseases is all related to that kind of stuff.
You do, man. If you
Those
look
additives in food.
how far we've come to process food over the last 40 years to get it to you faster, to get it to you cheaper, to get it to you, I was raised in a family that was, hey, we do strictly organic and we do good food. And that was me 40, I would say 20, 30 years ago, I was living that way.
We had this conversation when Beth was on the show the last time.
Yeah.
And like, I thought it went great. Matter of fact, Beth, if you're listening, we'd like to get you back on the show. Let us know when you're available. Me, you, Big Country, and Parabellum can hash some of this stuff out and like maybe have a whole entire section on just that kind of stuff.
That'd be great. Well, we're always a big fan of multiple perspectives, and I think that is the answer to life. To be able to have multiple perspectives, and that's something you don't get in the Democrat Party, and you do kindly get a little bit in the Republican Party. And outside of politics, I do. Like I said, I think that's the answer of life. You got to have multiple perspectives, and that's why I love this show, and that's why I love this platform.
You got anything on that, Big Country?
No, I'm good, man.
All right. Well, let's get to this last badass clip, and then we'll take it from there.
Who are trying to erase history and sanitize racism, threatening to pull funding from the Smithsonian. Unless it stops promoting what he is calling divisive, race-centered ideology, it is a fact that slavery existed. Yeah. And every time you try to cover it up, I think of y'all as doing that cat box thing. You can't cover it up. You can't bury it deep enough. There's too many of us.
Well, Whoopi, I think it's silly to say that they are trying to erase history about slavery. But I gotta say, only in America, y'all keep ranting about it and building museums and using your education system to brainwash generations of children into thinking they are victims if they're black and they are monsters if they are white. Okay?
CRT.
And yet, you keep skipping the part where Africa had its own internal slave trades. The Europe bought the slaves from Africa. The Arabs bought the slaves from Africa. It was a global business at the time. But now, not 150 years ago, not 200 years ago, right now, in South Africa, white farmers are getting killed and their lands taken over simply because they are white. And since you people on the show never mention any of the things I just talked about, I gotta ask, are you doing the cat box thing to cover it up?
Guilty.
Look at him. I don't know what to do. I'm new.
Yes, you're doing the cat box thing.
Yeah.
You're absolutely doing the cat box thing.
Hey, what happened to my camera?
I don't know. We lost you again.
Oh, there
you go. Whoa, big green screen.
You got my green screen. How about that shit?
Hey, we're down with it.
Welcome to my green world, people. Let's see if we can get that back to where it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I thought that was great, Hex. That's a really good one, and I absolutely enjoy anytime the 5 on the view get absolutely destroyed.
They freaking got annihilated on that shit.
Like I said, coffee and liberal tears. I love them.
Thank you. Yeah, they got blown away on that shit. So I guess we're gonna close this show out.
We'll catch it on the next show if you want to, Hex, about the.
You got more? If you got more, we can.
Oh no, it's just the radio reference app that we was talking about sharing with.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that too. Send me that link real quick here, and I'll post it in the chat there.
Let me grab that.
Send it on Facebook there.
Yeah, you can actually use Radio Reference or Broadcastify, either one. Radio Reference is going to take you to the Broadcastify app anyway. But we've caught a little break in the action here in the last little bit. Either that or they're just not shedding as much light on it. But it's a real valuable tool if you've got family members in places that are seeing a little bit of the civil unrest right now and the riots going on. It's a scanner app. You can monitor police scanners, first responder scanners, and just see what's going on in that area.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I'd meant to send it to you, Parabellum. Big Country sent it to me last week when we were doing the show live. Right after the show,
Yeah,
he
send me that information because that's
I had forgotten to send it to you. But yeah, it's great. Like I was listening to it all that night, and I've listened to it a couple times since then on my phone, but I don't have the link on my computer. That's why I was asking.
Do you want that on Facebook?
Yeah, send it to me on Facebook so I can pull it up on the computer and copy the link, and I'll post it in the chat for everybody that wants to. There we go. Let me pull that up and copy. All right, so we're not going to get into a big discussion of how to use this tonight. I'm going to put the link in the chat. There it is in that, and then let me stick it over here in the chat on Facebook.
I'll put it right there on the show for you. We could show at radioreference.com.
Yep. There you go. And there's a link on the screen too. So we're not getting into a big discussion on how to use that tonight. We'll save that for maybe next Friday's show. And we'll let Big Country take the stage on that and tell everybody how it works, how to use it, what to click on, where to go. But I guess we're going to close this show out tonight. I apologize. We went a little bit over our 2 hours. We're 2 hours and 27 minutes, but we had a lot to go over tonight.
Yeah, we got some viewers tonight. I appreciate that for all the people that stayed with us and they're viewing. Absolutely appreciate you guys.
Yep. We had viewers in and out all night, like as we were doing this. I would like to remind everybody one more time to go down there. There's a thumbs up on YouTube and a thumbs up on Facebook. Hit that thumbs, comment, give us feedback, share the show. Q17, heck yeah. But anyway, we are your host, Parabellum, Big Country, and Hex 7, and we're going to be out here or get out of here for the night. Peace out, God bless, and where we go one, we go all.